Ladies and gentlemen, we got some big fight news. MVP Promotions alongside Netflix has announced earlier today that they are bringing two of the biggest stars of women's MMA out of retirement to face off against each other. We have Rowdy Ronda Rousey set to go against Gina Carano. This is going to be mid-May. May 16th is the card. They really haven't announced a whole lot for the rest of the card yet as far as like any other fights or anything like that on there. But Rousey, obviously, I would say easily the biggest star in women's MMA. She was kind of the Conor McGregor. She had the finishes. She was armbarring everybody and their mom. A lot of these chicks, lightning quick. She was dumping them on their heads and ripping their arms off. She was marketable. She was saying the catchy stuff in her interview. She was aggressive. Pretty easy on the eyes. But for those who are in the know, kind of the long-time MMA fans, Gina Carano, I guess in my opinion, was she was kind of the complete package, maybe easily, I don't know. She was kind of the complete package even before Ronda Rousey was. The one aspect that she maybe didn't have that Ronda did have was the exciting finishes. She had 3 knockouts, 1 sub, 3 decisions, and she's been KO'd 1 time. So not as many fights as Ronda, but just as easy on the eyes. Very marketable. She was great on the mic. She was gritty. She was getting after it. She was aggressive. So I think this is a fun matchup. I think it would have been maybe more fun if we were catching these two gals still in their prime. But they fought at different times. Rousey a little bit after Carano, just by a couple years. Very different fight styles. So I don't know. It's just an interesting one. I've not fully processed it yet, but I figure we'll go through and kind of take a look, read the article here, and see what all they have to say about it. Rousey, 12-2. She had 2 knockout losses to kind of end her career, and then she called it quits for a little while, but I guess not for forever. She's not fully retired because she's coming back. She's 39. She'll be 39 by the time the fight comes around. You got old Gina Carano's 43, but she'll be 44 by the time the fight takes place. So 2 gals well past their prime. Both of them have been out for quite a while. That Amanda Nunes knockout for Ronda was back in 2016. Gina, I think, was like 2009. God, 2009. So quite a while. It's going to be damn near 17 years since she stepped foot in an octagon, or I guess a cage since then. And that last loss coming to, it says Christiane Justino. Nobody knows her as that. They all know her as Cyborg. Pretty brutal finish from what I remember from old Cyborg. She was putting a beating on her, but I also think there's been a little bit of revisionist history going on there. From what I recall, Gina also got in a couple of good positions against old Cyborg. Got some dominant ground positions while she was getting the shit beat out of her. So maybe we'll take a look at those while we're at it. But breezing through the announcement here, we've got Ronda versus Gina super fight. I don't know that I'd call it a super fight, but headline Netflix's first MMA event. 2 pioneers of women's MMA. Yep. Rousey's back today. MVP Netflix announced MMA event that will be headlined by the return of former UFC champion and Olympic medalist Ronda Rousey. 12-2, 9 subs, 3 KOs. Will compete in her first fight in nearly a decade against fellow women's MMA pioneer Gina Carano. Wild. The historic fight will take place May 16th. Be Netflix's first ever live MMA and MVP's inaugural MMA event. Be contested inside a hexagon instead of the octagon, or cut out 2 sides there. And it'll stream live on Netflix at no additional cost to subscribers. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Kind of they did this with the boxing fight with old Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Also kind of the Paramount Plus model where they're getting rid of pay-per-views. If you have the Paramount Plus subscription plan, you get the fight, which is pretty sweet. After the record-breaking success in boxing, we wanted our first MMA event to be truly legendary. Gabe Spitzer, Netflix VP of Sports, says, "These are more than just athletes. They are generational stars, and having them headline our MMA debut at the Intuit Dome is a defining moment for us." Pretty nuts. The Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, streaming live on Netflix, including all plans. What weight? Be contested at a featherweight bout of 145. Now, Ronda was generally fighting at old 135 for the vast majority of her career. She may have had like an early one at 145, but when I was talking about their past stuff, I almost brought up that Carano, if I remember correctly, fought a weight class above, but I thought I was mistaken. But I'm becoming more sure of it, given the agreement for this fight and the fact that Carano I want to say that Cyborg fight was 145. I don't think Cyborg ever fought as low as 135, but have Rousey and Carano ever fought before? They'll be fighting for the first time. Matchup is many years in the making. Rousey shattered the glass ceiling for women's MMA during a record-setting run from 2011 to 2016. God, it's hard to think. It's wild to think that was only a 5-year little stint, but she made some big waves while she was here. Olympic medalist in judo. I want to say it was a bronze belt, but I could be, or a bronze medal, but I could be mistaken. Rousey racked up several subs, TKO victories, many of which came within 1 minute of start time after a dominant reign as the bantamweight champ. There's your 135. Rousey catapulted to the WWE's women's division toward its first WrestleMania event in history. Oh, catapulted the WWE women's division towards its first WrestleMania event. Whatever. She's also a New York Times best-selling author, and her star power is on display in both the Fast and Furious and the Expendables franchises. Been waiting so long to announce this. Rousey tells Netflix, "Me and Gina Carano are going to throw down in the biggest super fight in women's combat sport history. And we're partnering with with the Fighter First promoter, MVP, as well as the baddest streamer on the planet, Netflix. This is for all MMA fans, past, present, and future." Maybe a little bit of a shot there at the UFC and old Dana with the Fighter First promoter. It's no coincidence that Rousey's return will be against another legend of the sport. Carano says, "Ronda came to me and said there was only one person she would make the comeback for, and it's been her dream to make this fight happen between us." To me, that says this is one of the few fights that she thinks she could win and would come back for a nice paycheck against Carano. A fight that she thinks is a layup. Carano is one of the first combat sports stars to cross over into the entertainment industry after her remarkable MMA tear from 2006 to 2009, so an even shorter stint, but a full 5 years before old Rousey ever hit the scene. 2006, 2011. A time before women were invited to compete in the UFC. Often recognized as the face of women's MMA, Carano's marketability and mainstream appeal outside of fighting led to an acting career, sharing major roles in Haywire, Fast and Furious 6, Deadpool, and The Mandalorian. She also headlined the first major MMA main event to feature two women in 2009, a landmark moment for the sport. That would have been Carano versus Cyborg if I had to take a stab at it. Through the years, a contest between Rousey and Carano was discussed, but never officially materialized until now. Though Rousey and Carano are preparing to come to blows, they share a mutual appreciation and admiration. She thanked me for opening up doors for her career and was respectful in asking for this fight to happen, Carano recalls. "This is an honor. I believe I will walk out of this fight with the win, and I anticipate it will not come easy, which I welcome. This is as much for Ronda and I as it is for the fans and mixed martial arts community. What a time to be alive." That's one way to put it. How many rounds is Rousey versus Carano, and what size gloves will they wear? The bout will be professionally sanctioned under the unified rules of MMA and contested over 5-minute rounds using 4-ounce gloves. So they're going for kind of the main event championship model of 5-minute rounds, 25 minutes of whooping each other's asses. Two geriatric women beating each other up for nearly a half an hour. Sign me up. What are the rules for a mixed martial arts fight? MMA allows fighters to use techniques from a variety of martial arts disciplines, including, but not limited to, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, karate, and judo. Unlike a boxing match, which is limited to punching, MMA also allows grappling and kicking, and fights can stay standing or go to the ground. Pretty cool. What they don't mention is ninjutsu. Might see someone get their throat torn out. Might see a shuriken get thrown while we're in there. How can I get tickets to Rousey versus Carano? Tickets go on sale Thursday, March 5th at Ticketmaster. Fans can also tune in as Rousey and Carano meet face-to-face at the kickoff press conference on Thursday, March 5th, the same day those tickets go on sale at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. Pretty interesting, dudes. I don't even know what to think about that shit. So we have MVP's official announcement today. I believe it's going to largely cover all the same BS. Talking about how they put on in November, Paul versus Tyson, which was shattered records as the most streamed sporting event of all time with 125 million viewers. That's insane. Talk about tickets going on sale, press conference, record setting, blah-bitty. Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet. They're going to give you another little overview. Gina Conviction Carano. She was also called the face of women's MMA. So I'm not the only one calling her a pioneer and the face of women's MMA, perhaps before Rousey. She was really the complete package. She just didn't have the finishes that Rousey did. And she obviously didn't make it to the UFC like Rousey did because they weren't doing women's fights at the time. It's kind of wild. Rousey was the person. There was a point in time where Dana was saying women will never fight in the UFC, and Rousey was kind of the one to change that. And by kind of, I mean she was. After the record-breaking success, blah blah blah. We're thrilled to continue partnership. Interesting. What does the old Twitter world X have to say about it? Turn it up. So blessed. Looking forward to making this walk again. Audio by Stylebender? Not the style. What? By Izzy?
People, Earth, I need to say something. Listen to me. I hope every one of you...
Oh, shut up. Who cares? Cyborg says, let's go. Inspiring. Ugh, upfront MMA, may the breast women win. Come on, guy. Love you, but didn't know you could fight. Be careful. Some of these people on here, I swear, didn't realize Rousey was still relevant. Does anyone plan on watching this? Tons of people will watch it, dipshit. But is this a real fight? Can't wait for this fight. You and me both. Marketable. You and me both. Oh, God. There she is. Gina back in the day. Interesting, man. I don't know. I'm rooting for Gina here. It's a pretty interesting matchup, but looking at their last fights, we'll go ahead and breeze through those a little bit here as well and just kind of touch on that. Rousey, top of the world, just the most dominant women's champ ever, ripping people's arms off. Look at this. First round, third round in each state. First round. And she goes out here against Holly Holm. A lot of people were completely writing off Holly Holm. This was back in 2015. But for those in the know, we're like, you know what? Preacher's daughter's pretty serious. She's been taking this game pretty serious. She clearly has the hands, the kickboxing. Can she put together any kind of a grappling, defensive-oriented game where she can keep this fight standing and at range, where she clearly has the advantage over Ronda? Now, I will also say at the time, Joe Rogan and other people were saying that Ronda Rousey could beat Floyd Mayweather in boxing and all this other goofy shit. So let's take a look here. I have Rousey versus Holm keyed up. I want to see her coming out, actually. Yeah, look at her mean mugging everybody on the way out. Just nasty. Oh. So we got Ronda doing her weird kind of wide stance, bouncing real light. Oh! Sweet chin music? God. Beautiful. That's one of the best sequences of this entire fight. Ronda, she's landed this lead hook several times in the fight now, maybe like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, Holly anticipating it, dips to the side, circles out, and Ronda throws so hard she throws herself off balance. Now, I actually think the recovery from Ronda is pretty impressive, especially for her being half-ass rocked. But either way, excellent movement by Holly Holm. Oof. Rocked her. Bam! Goodbye. Oof, see ya. Ronda is out. Edmund being a fucking creep. Awesome. So anyway, that was the Holly Holm upset. She was minus 1,200 favorite. Ronda Rousey was, only to go out there and get smoked. Absolutely beautiful performance by Holly. So after that, Ronda Rousey takes some time off. She comes back against, at the time, up-and-coming monster in the division, Amanda Nunes. People were like, who's this chick? She's going to be champ someday, potentially. She's beast. She almost reminds me of Cyborg, blah, blah, blah. But she can't grapple. She got no grappling for Ronda. Ronda's going to dump her on her head and rip her arm off. Well, maybe not. Oh! Just murdered her, dude. Ronda has the weirdest knockout sequences ever. She like refuses to go down, and she's like tippy toes and springing around, catching her balance. Brutal. And after that was it. Ronda called it quits. I can't necessarily say that I blame her. She was on top of the world and then had 2 just brutal ass whoopings back to back. But I don't know. You would have thought somebody who had the competition background that she does or did and does, I guess, still, that it wouldn't, I don't know, it wouldn't completely derail her like it seemed to have. It seemed like it just crushed her. She completely disappeared from the limelight for years, and then only recently, I think it was like last year, finally did like a long-form sit-down interview and talked about a lot of this and how she felt betrayed by everybody, and Dana let her down, and this, that, and the other. And I think a lot of this was self-induced, self-inflicted, but what do I know? So then we'll take a look at Gina Carano's last fight here real quick as well. Back in 2009 against old Cyborg. Oof. Lands a jab, and then Cyborg just does what she was doing to everybody at the time, which was basically backing up against Cage and just winging on him. Cyborg goes for the worst takedown ever. She goes a body lock and then just pulls Gina directly on top of her. Gina starts to step over like she's going to settle into a mount, and then instead stands up, gives the single leg, but then starts winging punches. Cyborg going for the heel hook. I guess Gina just was not as comfortable on the ground as you would have liked her to be, because that was decent position. She could have stayed there and worked. And she's going for the heel hook, sort of. It was pretty sloppy attempt. Cyborg. She then works her way back to Gina Carano's back. Starts just landing bombs, but a lot of these are not landing flush. Gina covering up. She's trying to hook the leg. Trying to stay safe here. Come on, Gina. Gets back to her feet. Oof, eats a knee, but then lands a counter. Cyborg again just starts unloading, ripping shots. But Gina stays pretty shelled up. Not bad. Again, goes for the sloppy takedown, and Gina steps over. Almost the exact same sequence. This time she settles there for a minute. Starts landing some punches. And then stands up again. Now, Cyborg was knee shielding and pushing her way out of there. But Gina absolutely backed out of that position when I think she could have pressured or attempted to go for a pass and went into side control or something. Throws a low kick. Catches her as she's coming up with a punch. Cyborg trying to frame off, get her off her against Cage. Works to the back again. Feeding each other some punches. Some jabs. See, okay, so people thought this was a complete shutout. A little bit more competitive of a fight than I think a lot of people remember. Low kick, punch upstairs, Cyborg counters. Oof, nasty low kick. Gina was a kick to the body, and Cyborg just eats it and counters. What the fuck? She rolls for a leg. That was a weird choice there. Gina's just getting beat up, man. Tell she's starting to fade a little bit. Oof. Winging shots. The funny thing is, man, if Carano had been able to weather this storm and made it later in the fight, Cyborg's fading. Oh, tries to go for like a Superman punch. Oof. Nasty. Nasty low kick. Frames off of Gina, push her back. Frames off her head and punches her around the other side. That was wild. Gets a seatbelt grip. Starts hitting some big GMP. Lets her back up. It's a crazy fight. Oh, feeds her an uppercut. Winging punches. Again, Gina tries to press her way out of the off the cage, and Cyborg really don't give a shit. Clinches back up with her. What are you, pull her on top of you again? Oh, if that elbow would have landed. Oh, just framing off Gina, trying to freaking eye gouge her. What are you doing? Ugh. Cyborg, I don't even think she was getting a takedown. It looked like Gina was trying to throw her. A lateral throw up against Cage, and Cyborg kind of pressured into her and fell on top of her. Got her in half. Gina's going to press off the Cage, maybe. Yeah. Try the Americana on her. Gina exploding out. Oof. Big shot, big shot. And that is it. With a second left, she gets the finish. Damn. So, anyway, more competitive fight than what I think a lot of people remember. Does this mean that this fight will be competitive with Ronda? I don't know, dude. Probably not. If Gina goes out there and has the sloppy grappling and the repeated clinch attempts and stuff like she did against Cyborg, I would imagine Ronda's going to get the better of that exchange. Probably toss her, get that hip throw that she likes to do, the judo throw, get her to the ground, and then submit her. But we'll see. We'll see. Both these girls have been out for a while. Gina, obviously, way longer than Ronda, so I would imagine the ring rust is going to be pretty stout on that side. I'd be curious what these girls have been walking around at weight-wise as well. Obviously, this is moving up for Rousey. It's the weight class that Gina has fought at. She's going to be somewhat comfortable there, but after freaking 17 years out, does that even apply anymore? I don't know. Odds, it's the only line I've found so far. We have Ronda Rousey at a minus 450 favorite to a plus 300 underdog for Gina. It's going to be interesting, folks. It's going to be real interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it. I watch all this goofy shit. Who do I pick? I guess I'll go with Rousey at minus 450. There's not much money to be made about it, but I don't know. We'll find some other play. I do think Rousey, just for recency and actual skill ceiling and then age, there's quite a few factors that lean in favor of Rousey. So I take Rousey probably by submission. She probably goes out there, weathers a storm, gets a takedown, tosses Gina, and submits her. That would be my guess. So that is it. Fight news. Pretty big announcement today. MVP, Netflix putting on a fight, their first MMA card. It's going to be May 16th on Netflix, streaming everywhere with your Netflix subscriptions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you think of this fight. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, help a brother out. And we'll see you guys for some fight breakdowns probably tomorrow. Peace.